I'm perplexed. Guys, make sure you watch the video all the way through. What I'm looking at right now has got me super hyped. You don't want to miss any parts of this video. They're super cringy, they're super crazy, so make sure you watch the video all the way through. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the video. Alright, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex Whittick, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now today I'm extremely excited because today we are going to be announcing the 2 winners of these BBS RS caps that won the 10K giveaway. Guys, it's absolutely insane. Right, the day after we hit 10K, we hit 11K, and we're just going to keep on growing from here. We're going to keep making this content, and also, guys, today I'm going to pick up the axle for the TT and we're going to install it, so I'm real hyped for that one. But guys, I want to announce the 2 winners of these BBS RS caps right here. The 2 winners are RAWWS space 223, so I guess Raws 223, and then Cole Hooper. Thank you guys for subscribing and really supporting the channel and stuff like that. So guys, these 2 are for you. Hit me up on Instagram at tilted_TDI, and I'll find you in my messages, and then we'll work out how we're going to get these shipped out to you guys. So I'm really excited to give you guys those. But guys, let's jack this car up and let's get it ready for this new axle. Before we go ahead and pick up this axle, actually I'm going to move the Mark 6. I'm going to jack up the car, I'm going to take off the wheel, and we're just going to get the car prepared to put the new axle in. So let's go ahead and do that. I went ahead, I moved the Mark 6 away from the TT. I started the TT, I turned the wheel all the way. I was like, let me just check out this axle before I have to go ahead and rip it out. I go to move the shaft in and out, and actually the cup at the end that bolts up to the transmission was just completely loose. Like, there's no bolts in it or anything like that. And I called Ariel, the previous owner. I said, what actually happened when this thing broke? He said, I was driving the car and it just stopped driving, and they pushed me over to the side. I got my trailer, I drove it home, and I never even tried to fix it, which is, you know, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you get lucky. So I'm actually just going to jack this car up, use some existing axle bolts that I already have from the Mark 5, and we're just going to tighten this thing back up, and we're going to try to drive it, because it's literally as simple as that. And I think my day just was saved. So let's go ahead, let's jack this car up, and let's see if these bolts will work. Alright guys, so I got underneath the car and actually investigated a little more, and it turns out that when the axle actually broke loose from the inside, because all the hub assembly bolts, I guess we'll call it the hub of the axle, when all those bolts came loose, the axle was still spinning because the wheel was still spinning, and it was just smashing around in there. So that whole cup and stuff like that, it's all smashed up, and I'm hoping that nothing got destroyed in there, but the end of the axle is destroyed. It's not going to be able to work properly. It's all rusted, and we're going to need to go pick up that AutoZone axle. We already paid for it, it's there, so I'm going to have to go pick it up, and we'll get this axle in there. I don't like working in my driveway because it's on a pitch and it's a little sketchy when you have stuff up on jack stands and stuff, so I did my best and I just tried to put it up on the wheels, but I wish I was working in the garage right now. It stinks, but let's go pick up that axle. Now I need a 30mm axle bolt, so we're gonna have to see if they have that over there. Hopefully it isn't a rental because I don't have to bring it back today. Maybe we could just buy one off the shelf. Just pulled up the AutoZone, parked completely crooked, not straight at all. Let's get in here and let's get out as quick as we can. Just left AutoZone, got the axle, no issues, 1, 2, 3, and then I went ahead and I got the socket right off the shelf. They had a bunch of them, so got my 30mm socket. And I believe it's a triple square socket. I forget what it's called. I'll show you guys when I get back to the house. But I got everything I need and we're heading back. I got the axle in the back. I got my axle nut socket right here. It's a 30mm 12-point. And this is all we needed. It was $20. I mean, I could return it, but I'll probably need it in the future, so I'm gonna keep it. This has to be the most ghetto axle job I've ever done, honestly. The most ghetto thing I've ever done in the driveway. I got the rear wheel sitting on a spare wheel. I got this front sitting on a wheel ramp with a piece of plywood. And I don't even want to talk about it, it's so bad. So we're gonna take this wheel off. I already got the axle all loosened up, and luckily it's gonna come right out once I get this wheel off. I got this Duralast axle right here, only paid $82 for it. So let's go ahead, let's rip this thing apart, and let's get this axle in there because I really want to drive this. So the axle nut gave me a little issue, not big at all, just a little bit of rust at the end, common issue. I just took a screwdriver, stuck it inside of the brake rotor, and then that pinched itself up against the caliper, so then that wouldn't spin, so I just spun it off with the ratchet. But then all the bolts had actually come out of the axle itself, then it separated from the CV, and it started swinging around. Luckily it doesn't look like it took out that oil line or the exhaust, but right there's these 2 brackets right here, and I think that that's a cage to kind of protect everything from getting hit from the axle if it ever was to break. That angle that you guys just saw, yes, the axle is kind of messed up, and if anyone knows what that cage that's broken around where the axle goes on the transmission side in the cup, let me know down in the comments, or just throw me maybe a link to show me what that is so I can maybe order that part. It looks like it just bolts right up. But I'm gonna go ahead, try to remove this axle. Hopefully it doesn't give me too many issues, and I'm just gonna see if I could just remove those bracket pieces, and then just throw the new axle in. But I'm gonna have to do my own research, but maybe you guys can let me know as well. So let's go ahead, let's try to throw this axle in. A few things to go ahead and show you that grabbing someone else's project sometimes can be a little bit worrisome for yourself. I didn't really notice, but this sway bar end link was just sitting around, and it was sitting on all these sensors, and it was actually every single time you turn the wheel, it was giving a lot of pressure. So there's not too much missing here. There's only fender liners that aren't here. I do prefer to have fender liners, so if anyone has fender liners, definitely let me know. It still has the stock intercooler, so someone hit me up maybe about a big intercooler in the front. That'd be cool. I really want to make this car mine, so any little differences, I want to get rid of that little puny intercooler. So if you do have one, let me know. Someone hit me up, but I don't recall who they were. And I think since I turned the wheel all the way, I'm gonna be able to just tap this axle out, slide it over, and we'll just get it right out. So I'm not gonna be able to just turn the wheel and slide the axle out, because actually the cup inside of there on the CV, on the inside by the transmission, is completely smashed up, so it's unable to accept itself back in, so I could slide it up and then just pull the axle out from the hub assembly. So it's no big deal, but I am just gonna have to unbolt the ball joint from the bottom of the control arm. There's only 3 bolts, and then once I drop the control arm, just pull that out, and then I can just slide the axle forward, and then we'll just be able to get it out. So it's no big deal, it's just a little more work. It's getting cold outside, but I'm doing this, I'm excited, so let's get to it. I don't know how well you guys were able to see it in the time lapse, but actually on the bottom of this control arm, there's no rust. There's no rust underneath this whole car. And when I did my Mark V lower control arms, all of the ball joint bolts were completely rusted on this. I just loosened them up and spun them all off by hand with no issues, which is absolutely insane. So I just went ahead and pulled on that. I'm gonna be able to get this whole axle right out of here. And since that sway bar end link isn't attached, I'll be able to just flop it down, slide the new axle in, take this old one out first, but look at this, it literally just moves freely. And on here, you guys can see it's slotted kind of like a Mark 7. I've seen a few of my friends that have done camber on Mark 7s, and their control arms actually have like big spacing in there, so that's really cool. So there's a little bit of adjustability, so you don't need like low pro ball joints or anything like that. So you can get about probably 2 degrees of camber just out of the lower control arm. So here's what I'm talking about with that cage being blown apart. This cage was just completely smashing around. This is on the transmission side of the CV. The CV blew to pieces, and those little rollers in there are what drive it. So that's why you're able to get such extreme camber. People always ask me like, how's your car still roll? You can literally have it at that much of an angle and it will still roll. I believe it's a 70-degree angle where the CV stops working, so it works amazingly. But yeah, that whole cage is just rusted and falling apart. A few of the bearings are actually rolling around on the ground, so this axle is toast. We got our brand new one. Let's chuck it in there. The one thing I am missing though is that the C-shape thing I was telling you about that goes from one bolt to another, and I believe I have more of those for the Mark V that are inside my little hoard spot. So let's see if I can go find those, and let's throw this axle in. I actually found those washer things that I was telling you guys about, but they actually aren't from my car. My car, I reused them, but I actually did find some in the trunk of this car, but those holes are too small, and those aren't even for this car. Like the axles are different, maybe from the front and the back, but those won't fit. So I'm not even gonna use them. They kind of just, you kind of need them, but I don't have them, so I'm just gonna throw this axle in there because I have all the right torque specs or anything like that. I feel like whoever did this just did it with a normal ratcheting wrench and just said, okay, whatever, I'm gonna tighten it at the end, but I'm actually gonna put the proper torque and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in, and I'll just get some more of those spacer looking things in the future. I do want to get those, but for now we're just gonna throw the axle in. Now, although the CV is enclosed, meaning it has a backing on it, opposed to my Mark V where the end of the CV, it just goes right into the transmission type area, it has a little dip, like a dimple I guess you can call it, so it has free play. Where on this it kind of has like a cage ending housing, I guess is the best way I can call it. It's right here. It does come apart though, and you take that zip tie right off, and I'm gonna need to remove that and just put in all this grease. So let's go ahead, let's put this grease on, and then the final step will be to throw it into the car. Before we went ahead and we packed that axle, I actually went ahead and I looked at the hub of the transmission where the axle would actually bolt up to, and I noticed that's not right. So there was 2 bolts that were actually completely snapped and 4 of them backed out. So there's actually 2 snap studs in there, and I want to go ahead and I want to try to remove those. There's a lot of techniques that you can do, and I'm not going to try to destroy this in case I do have to get a kit. But for just right now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to center punch it, then I'm going to try to tap it with a little drill bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to find a square piece, and I'm going to hammer it in there. It sounds ghetto, but I've seen a lot of people do it online. I actually just spent probably about 30 minutes trying to like find the best video. and that's what I've come up with. So I'm gonna go ahead, let's drill this out. Let's hope for the best, fingers crossed. We're running low on daylight, so I don't know how good the video quality will be, but let's get this done. So we're actually gonna start off with something actually kind of easy. We're just gonna take a drill bit, we're gonna drill into it. We're gonna take this T10, and that's gonna be my square bit that I said I was gonna use. I just want something that's gonna have a lot of grip, a lot of like options. So the hole's gonna be really small. I'm gonna take a hammer, I'm gonna smash this thing in there. We're gonna try to spin this out after we apply some heat. So I have a torch, we have all that. So let's go ahead, let's drill this out, let's smash it in. Just took a bungee cord, I tucked the knuckle and the brake assembly out of the way so I'll have a clear, straight shot right to the shaft. Now let's get in there. I'm just gonna drill this out. I'm hoping for the best. So guys, I was gonna go ahead and I was gonna drill that out, try to back those nuts out, and I was actually kind of worried, but all I had to do was just take a drill bit. I started drilling in, starting with my first hole, and since there's a lip on the back side, there's a gap, this thing just spun right through. The drill bit actually grabbed, I got worried, and it just spun it right out. So now, let's hope that the second side works as well, and let's get that axle in. So I actually had to go ahead and start the car up and put it into gear so we can get the spin, so I can get to the second stud. As you can see, that is spinning in there, that is doing its thing. This thing is just warming up. Its cold start is absolutely insane. Right now, cold start is over. Its cold start is only for about 10 seconds, and it's like, whoa, it sounds crazy, nothing like I'm used to. So I'm gonna have that stop spinning. We're gonna have to find the perfect spot to get that stud out, make sure it's straight so we can drill a straight hole, and then we'll just get it out. I got the stud nice and straight. Now let's time lapse this and let's get this bolt out. Hopefully you can see in there very well, but this stud's about to come out. It's the second drill that I've had to use because the other hole actually went all the way through, but I just lined that right up and you could definitely see it. Hopefully it just spins right out. Just like that, guys, we're free of all the space. We got all the bolts out. Now let's go ahead, let's throw this new axle in there. I'm perplexed. We got two of those studs out with no issues. We just drilled right into it and they drilled right outside the backside. They threaded right out. So let's go ahead, let's get this axle in and let's get ripping. Go ahead, I'm gonna pack this axle with grease and cue the time lapse. Alright guys, so a little update. I've got all the axle bolts in right now. I am absolutely freezing. It's so cold outside. It's about 35 degrees out here. We got all those axle bolts in. I've got my torque wrench, RIP, but I've got my torque wrench right there. We're gonna get all 6 of those bolts tightened down to 55 foot-pounds, and then we're gonna put the hub assembly back together. Guys, I'm super hyped. We got all those bolts torqued down to 55 foot-pounds. We're gonna get this car rolling on the road. I'm gonna drop it down tomorrow morning. It's dark outside. I'm not even gonna bother going out there. I got all my tools packed up and I'm finished for the night. I'm super cold, but guys, on that note, I'm gonna wrap up the video. Also, guys, super big congratulations to those 2 winners of the giveaway. We hit 10K and I'm super hyped about it. To all the new subscribers, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, comment, share, and you subscribe. Keep smiling, don't even put you down. Love your car, love your build, love what you do. And guys, keep on keeping on, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.